In the vast expanse of space, countless civilizations wage wars with fleets that stretch across the stars. Yet one question haunts the galaxy: why do humans only send one ship? When entire armadas fall before a lone Terran vessel, the mystery deepens. How can a single ship dismantle fleets, unravel defenses, and seize the very fabric of power? The answer lies not in numbers, but in a terrifying truth: humanity doesn't fight like the rest of the galaxy. They fight with precision, strategy, and an unsettling knowledge that none can fully grasp. The Council of Interstellar Powers sat in solemn silence, their vast chamber illuminated by the faint glow of distant stars. For eons, they had built empires, conquered new worlds, and forged alliances born from the fires of war. Yet none of their vast experience could explain humanity. When the first human explorers made contact, their actions defied all expectations. Unlike the others, humanity did not emerge from the stars with fleets of warships or legions of soldiers. Instead, they sent one, a lone vessel, small, unassuming, and seemingly insignificant. It appeared without fanfare, navigated with a simplicity that made even the most advanced species pause. At first, the galaxy dismissed them as naive or weak. One ship was hardly enough to defend or expand. What kind of strategy was that? The bulk of the galaxy's military doctrine revolved around overwhelming numbers, armadas capable of eradicating entire worlds in a matter of hours. Species invested their entire resources into vast fleets of warships, their weaponry capable of reducing planets to lifeless husks. It had always been about dominance through force. Humanity, it seemed, defied this logic. The first encounters were humiliating for the more powerful species. A single human ship would infiltrate defenses, sabotage operations, or outmaneuver entire fleets without firing a single shot. The K-Tal suffered such a fate, losing an entire war effort because a single Terran vessel slipped through their defenses and destroyed critical infrastructure. The Xantari faced the same humiliation, their once impenetrable orbital defenses collapsing under the weight of human strategy. What baffled them all was the silence. No communications, no demands, no grand declarations of conquest. Just one ship operating alone, slipping through their grasp with ruthless efficiency. The galaxy's leaders gathered in their chambers, debating the apparent paradox. Why did humanity send only one ship? Was it arrogance, born from a misguided belief in their own superiority? Or was it desperation, a strategy born from limited resources and survival instincts? The Council could not agree. Some theorized that humans believed they were superior, confident in their ability to dominate with their lone vessel. Others feared the opposite, desperation driven by scarcity, where sending multiple ships was simply beyond their capacity. But beneath these theories, there was a deeper unease. One thing was clear: humanity was unlike any species the galaxy had encountered. Their tactics were unsettlingly effective. No one could ignore the damage caused by a single ship. Entire fleets had been rendered obsolete not through brute force but through an unseen precision that no one could predict. The galaxy's collective memory was littered with tales of single human ships turning the tide of battles that entire armadas had failed to win. The question persisted: why only one ship? It wasn't just a military strategy, it was something more. The galaxy's greatest minds pondered the answer, but all they could see was the vast chasm of uncertainty. The Terrans remained a riddle, a species with a power that didn't conform to the rules of the galaxy they now inhabited. And while many sought answers, all they could do was watch and wait, fearing what the humans might do next. The Galaxium Accord, formed in a rare moment of unity, sought to address the growing threat of humanity. Comprised of the most powerful species in the galaxy, the K-Tal, the Xanthari, the Draken, and others, the Accord represented a coalition born of fear. The members had experienced firsthand the consequences of humanity's precision and lethality. Their first instinct was simple: if humanity only sent one ship, then overwhelming force should suffice. In their minds, the solution was straightforward. If one ship had proven effective, a coordinated fleet from across the galaxy could eliminate it without difficulty. Yet, their confidence was laced with uncertainty. Humanity had managed to dismantle vast military operations, each with the skill and determination that no other species could match. And now, they decided to confront this enigma head-on. A false distress signal was crafted, designed to draw the humans into a trap. It originated from the desolate moon of Drathos, far beyond the borders of established galactic control. The signal claimed a desperate call for aid from an isolated research station, its coordinates broadcasting far and wide. The Accord believed this to be the perfect bait, one that would lure the humans into an ambush of unimaginable proportions. From every corner of the galaxy, fleets converged upon Drathos. They came from species who had suffered humiliation at the hands of a single Terran vessel, each harboring their own grievances, each seeking vengeance. The K'Tal brought their vast, insectoid armadas, towering ships bristling with weaponry that could shatter entire planets. The Xanthari, sleek and formidable, deployed their fleets, filled with advanced technology that could render entire systems defenseless. Even the Draken, a race of brutal conquerors, sent their massive warships expecting to crush any resistance without hesitation. The moon of Drathos became a gathering ground for fear and anticipation. The gathered fleets were vast beyond measure, their combined numbers dwarfing any force humanity had ever faced. The strategy was clear: overwhelm the human threat with sheer firepower. No single vessel could survive the combined might of the Accord. This was supposed to be their strength, the sheer magnitude of forces overwhelming any resistance. But as they waited, doubt began to seep into their minds. The human ship they expected remained unresponsive. There was no sign of communication, no attempt to negotiate or surrender. The silence was deafening. The human vessel had arrived, drifting quietly at the edge of the moon, its presence unassuming. There was no display of power, no grand fleet to accompany it, just one ship. The assembled commanders exchanged uneasy glances. Why had humanity not sent more? Why had they not responded to the trap as expected? The logic that had worked for countless species failed to explain the Terrans. Their approach was maddeningly simple: one ship, floating in space, waiting. Tensions flared as some commanders argued that the humans were bluffing. Perhaps they were waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Others clung to the belief that humanity's lack of numbers was a sign of weakness, desperation, or arrogance. They convinced themselves that this was the final act of a species that couldn't compete with the vast power of the galaxy. But beneath their growing frustration was a deep-rooted fear. The one certainty they all shared was that humanity had proven its capability time and again. What if the silence wasn't a sign of weakness, but a testament to their mastery of something far beyond their comprehension? The Accord's fleets readied their weapons, but doubts lingered in every mind. What if, after all, one ship was all humanity needed? The human ship sat motionless as the Accord's fleets opened fire, unleashing a barrage of energy and plasma designed to obliterate even the most fortified targets. Yet something peculiar happened. The Terran vessel didn't react as expected. It remained untouched, as if immune to the fury of the combined armadas. At first, the commanders dismissed it as mere luck or a glitch in their targeting systems. Surely no one ship could withstand such an onslaught, they thought. Yet, as the seconds stretched into minutes, the realization began to settle in. The human vessel wasn't just surviving, it was absorbing the energy being hurled at it. The shields, once designed to withstand entire fleets, showed no signs of faltering. The fleets began to falter. One by one, their ships lost cohesion. Shields flickered, engines sputtered, and targeting systems failed. It was as if the very fabric of their technology had been disrupted. No damage was being inflicted on the Terran ship, but the Accord's forces were descending into chaos. The human vessel, calm and methodical, moved forward with unsettling precision. It didn't seek confrontation with the fleets. Instead, it ignored them, its course set toward the surface of Drathos. The purpose was clear now. They hadn't come to fight the armadas. They had come for something below. The realization sent shockwaves through the Accord's leadership. If humanity didn't need to defeat their fleets, if they didn't rely on brute force, then what was the point of this display? The Terran ship didn't need to destroy them, it only needed to be ignored. The fleet commanders, their confidence shattered by the unrelenting silence, found themselves paralyzed. Panic spread as communications broke down. The Accord's forces, no longer unified, scattered into disarray. Attempts to regroup were futile as more ships succumbed to the mysterious phenomenon. Systems failed, entire formations crumbled, and the once dominant fleets were reduced to isolated pockets of confusion. In the midst of the chaos, the human vessel descended toward the surface of Drathos, leaving behind a battlefield littered with disabled ships and drifting debris. Its mission was clear, not to confront the fleets, but to claim the relic hidden beneath the moon's surface. The galaxy had prepared for war, but humanity had come for something far more valuable. As the last of the fleet commanders struggled to comprehend what had transpired, a single transmission was sent from the Terran ship to the scattered remains of the Accord's forces. Your understanding of power is flawed. The message wasn't a threat, nor a declaration of victory. It was a cold observation. Humanity had not come to fight a battle they couldn't win with brute force. Instead, they had arrived to dismantle the very foundation of power that the galaxy had built. And now, the only certainty was that the Accord had underestimated them. The Terran ship had never needed to destroy their fleets. All it had needed was the one objective beneath Drathos, an ancient, forgotten relic of unimaginable power. In its silence and precision, humanity had left the galaxy to grapple with the growing realization that they were not the masters of the stars. Someone or something far more terrifying had arrived. The Accord's forces were in disarray, their once unified fleet scattered like leaves before a storm. The human vessel, now fully powered, continued its descent toward the surface of Drathos. The relic it had sought lay beneath the moon's surface, a prize beyond the comprehension of the galaxy's most powerful species. As the fleet commanders struggled to regain control, the realization dawned on them that the human ship hadn't come to destroy them. They had come for something far more dangerous. The relic wasn't merely a tool of power, it was something beyond their understanding, something that could shift the very balance of their existence. While the fleets floundered, isolated and defenseless, the Terran ship landed with surgical precision. Scans revealed the surface of Drathos to be riddled with ancient ruins and dormant machinery, remnants of a bygone era. The human vessel seemed unconcerned with the fading fleets. Its focus was singular and relentless. The relic beneath the surface wasn't just a weapon. It was a source of knowledge power untapped, a force that had been buried in the depths of history. Humanity, the galaxy realized, had come not to conquer, but to understand. Their ship wasn't here to engage in the endless wars of the stars. It was here to learn and adapt, to harness knowledge no other species had dared seek. As the human vessel activated its systems, beams of energy pierced the surface, exposing the relic. The ground trembled beneath the weight of the ancient device as it was unearthed. The human crew worked with efficiency, extracting the relic with precision, their every action calculated and deliberate. The fleets, still reeling from the collapse of their collective forces, tried to regroup, but there was nothing left to fight. The Terran ship had won not through firepower or overwhelming numbers, but through something far more terrifying: understanding. The galaxy's leaders watched in stunned silence as the relic was secured and the human ship ascended once more. The fleets, broken and lost, could do nothing but drift, their hopes of vengeance extinguished. The Terrans had never needed them. A message flickered across the remains of the Accord's communications: your understanding of power is flawed. It wasn't a warning, but a truth they could no longer ignore. Humanity hadn't come to conquer, they had come to master. The galaxy, now fully aware of the threat humanity posed, could only ponder the chilling question: what would they do next? The Terrans had never relied on force. They had always relied on something far more dangerous: their ability to understand, adapt, and overcome. And as they drifted into silence, the only certainty was that the galaxy had only begun to witness humanity's true power. In the aftermath of the Terran ship's departure, the galaxy was left reeling. The Accord's once mighty fleets had been reduced to drifting remnants, their commanders stricken with confusion and despair. The relic they had sought, now in human hands, was a force beyond their understanding, one that could reshape the very foundations of their power. The question of humanity's true intent lingered in the minds of the Accord's leaders. Had they come to conquer, as so many feared, or was this part of a larger, far more intricate plan? The Terrans had shown no interest in domination or expansion. Their focus had always been singular: one ship, one mission, and one unyielding pursuit of knowledge. Some of the more cautious species began to question whether humanity posed a threat at all. What if their actions were not driven by conquest, but by something far more unsettling? What if humanity had no interest in war, but in something far more insidious: control through understanding? The relic, extracted from the depths of Drathos, had been a revelation. It wasn't a weapon, as many had assumed. Instead, it was a source of knowledge and ancient, dormant technology that could manipulate the very fabric of reality itself. The Terrans had sought not destruction, but mastery, and the galaxy now knew they were capable of far more than anyone had realized. Humanity didn't need to overwhelm the galaxy with endless fleets or legions of soldiers. They didn't need brute force or even complex strategies. All they needed was one ship, one purpose, and the relentless drive to uncover and harness the unknown. The galaxy had believed in strength through numbers, but humanity had demonstrated a far more dangerous truth, strength through precision and knowledge. The Accord's leaders convened again, though this time their confidence was gone. The questions that had once brought them certainty now lingered without answer. If humanity didn't seek conquest, what did they want? What was their endgame? Some feared that the humans were merely biding their time, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike when no one could stop them. Others believed they had no interest in war, merely in acquiring the tools to ensure their survival and dominance in ways the galaxy couldn't comprehend. It wasn't the firepower of their fleets that humanity had dismantled, it was their very understanding of power itself. The galaxy's rulers had spent millennia mastering their technologies, building defenses that had never failed before. But humanity had shown that knowledge itself could be weaponized, that understanding the universe could be more dangerous than any fleet or army. And now, as the relic vanished into the hands of humanity, the galaxy could do little but wait in uncertainty. The silence of the Terran ship was more ominous than any threat. If humanity wasn't here to conquer, then what was their purpose? And what came next? The answer, though terrifying, remained out of reach. One thing was certain: the galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again. The silence that followed humanity's departure from Drathos was deafening. Across the galaxy, the Accord's leaders convened once more, their once mighty empires now struggling to make sense of what had happened. The loss of the relic wasn't just a blow to their military dominance, it was a loss of control, a fracture in the foundation of their power. Humanity had proven that their understanding of reality was something none of them could match. The relic was no ordinary artifact. It wasn't just a weapon or a tool of destruction, it was something far more insidious. Its origins, its purpose, and the power it wielded had been beyond the comprehension of the galaxy's most advanced species. Humanity had unearthed it, and in doing so, they had grasped the truth that the galaxy had long forgotten: knowledge could be the most dangerous weapon of all. What the Accord hadn't anticipated was humanity's ability to adapt. They hadn't come to take their place among the stars through brute force or territorial conquest. Instead, they had come with something far more insidious: an understanding of how to dominate without ever needing to fire a shot. If they could control the relic, then they could control not just one system, but the very rules that governed the galaxy itself. The Terran vessel, returning to the stars, was proof enough of this. It carried with it something far more lethal than any fleet: an inexhaustible thirst for knowledge and the means to manipulate reality itself. The galaxy's leaders could no longer trust in their technological superiority or their military prowess. What if humanity's true power wasn't in their ability to build fleets or conquer worlds, but in their ability to unravel and control the very nature of existence? The fear wasn't merely of conflict, but of submission to forces they couldn't hope to understand. The humans had shown no interest in wars of conquest. They had no need for expansive fleets, vast armies, or any of the trappings that define power in the galaxy. Instead, they wielded knowledge with an unsettling efficiency, disrupting the systems that had once seemed unassailable. Now, the galaxy's powers were left grappling with a bitter realization: they had built empires on a foundation of strength and dominance, but humanity had built theirs on a foundation of knowledge. The relic had been their key, their gateway to a power that no one else could access. And as the Terran vessel disappeared into the void, the question that hung over the galaxy was not how to stop them, but whether they could ever understand what humanity had become. The Accord's leaders debated and schemed, but no strategy, no alliance could restore the sense of security they had lost. Humanity had stripped away the very pillars of power that had held the galaxy together. They didn't seek to destroy, they sought to control. and control wasn't something the galaxy could fight. As they watched the Terran ship vanish beyond their reach, they realized one thing: humanity had begun something none of them could stop. The silence of their return was far more menacing than any war they might have waged. The galaxy was no longer theirs to command. It had become something entirely new. In the weeks that followed, the galaxy descended into chaos. The once powerful Accord, now fractured and demoralized, struggled to maintain order. Without the Terran ship to focus their fears upon, new threats emerged from the shadows of their weakened dominance. Entire empires, once united against a common enemy, now turned against each other, each consumed by paranoia and mistrust. The humans had disappeared, leaving nothing but a hollow silence in their wake. The relic they had claimed had vanished into the depths of human space. No communication had been sent. No demands had been made. They hadn't sought to dominate the galaxy through conquest, but through something far more insidious: control. The galaxy's leaders couldn't comprehend how a single species could possess a power they couldn't understand, let alone harness. Every attempt to trace the Terrans or uncover the nature of their knowledge ended in failure. The human ship had vanished as though it had never existed, leaving only remnants of once mighty empires to fend for themselves. The once confident species, now humiliated and paranoid, watched as humanity expanded its influence from afar. Their ships, now untethered from the constraints of war, moved with a deliberate calm. They no longer fought for territory or survival, they fought for something else: power itself. The relic humanity had unearthed wasn't a mere tool, it was a key to understanding, a way to manipulate the very fabric of reality. The galaxy had once believed in strength through numbers, but humanity had shattered that belief with a single ship. The relic wasn't a weapon, but a blueprint for a new order, one where knowledge reigned supreme. As time passed, whispers of humanity began to spread. The Terran Empire, if it could even be called that, was a shadowy force, hidden behind a veil of silence and precision. They hadn't declared war, nor had they made any demands. They didn't need to. The very nature of their existence was a threat that the galaxy couldn't ignore. Some species clung to the hope that humanity would become another conqueror, driven by greed and ambition. Others feared something far worse: an empire built not on conquest, but on control. The humans didn't seek to control through violence, but through understanding. If knowledge was their weapon, then the galaxy's rulers knew they were defenseless. The remnants of the Accord, now scattered and broken, struggled to unite. Every attempt to resist the Terrans ended in failure. The human vessel had shown them that it wasn't brute strength that mattered, but how one used knowledge to dismantle the very foundations of power. In the quiet darkness of space, humanity had become something the galaxy had never expected: a force capable of reshaping the stars themselves. The leaders of the Accord could do nothing but watch, their once mighty empires now hollow shells, powerless against a power they couldn't comprehend. And as they drifted further into uncertainty, they knew one thing: humanity wasn't done yet. And when they returned, it would be with a force far beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Sci-Fi Horizon Stories for more thrilling tales of science fiction and adventure. The galaxy is vast, and humanity's mysteries have only just begun. Stay tuned for what comes next.